I was told to pull it out, so I have. Hey, I think somebody fooled me. I was told I was coming to speak to the Country Women's Institute, and you don't look like it. This is one farm at the back there, I think. Like that. I haven't seen so many people since 8 years ago when we built the cairn, and it's a lovely thing. All credit to you guys. You can't have a protest without people, right? You all know the issues. I've only come here to recite a brief poem, but before I do, I want to defend the ad hominem attack technique which I've been using lately. A good friend of mine said to me, Sam, when you sculpted Nick Smith with his pants down cracking in a glass of water, don't you think that was a bit unkind? And I said, well, it seems like a very apt metaphor, maybe the best, and everybody gets it, you know. You don't have to describe it, you just know exactly what's happening. And she said, Sam, but it's unkind, people don't like that. She said, play the game, not the man. Play the game, not the man. I said, well, you mean there's a game going on? Okay, so the team we're playing have... The team we're playing against have organised the ground on which we're playing. They've also written the rules, and they've reserved the right to change the rules halfway through the game. And the referee is finding all the penalties in their favour, and the goalposts behind us are so wide the moon could drift through. The goalposts at their end are so close together that if Jerry Brownlee was behind them with his pants down, nobody would be offended. Am I speaking too fast? So, if you're fighting an army, you've got a mass of people against you, you're outnumbered and they've chosen the battleground. You don't waste your time fighting the army, you take out the generals. Now ECAN is a great big amorphous block of concrete, and we say ECAN have done this, ECAN have done that, but they haven't. There are people inside ECAN who are our friends, who are on our side, good people, good scientists. They can't do things because the guys running the place, David Cagle, Bill Bayfield, his little Rottweiler, and a man called Peter Skelton, who arranges the legal frames in which David Cagle can perform his act of turning our rivers into gutters, right? That's how it works. Our enemy is David Cagle, the neoliberal prick that in the 1980s gave away everything we owned, remember? The railways, the power stations, the telephones, the whole works. He was the guy. He's still here, unelected, running everything, giving away our water. So, let me give you an example of how the ad hominem works. I was in ECAN recently with my partner Alison looking for some consents for an 80,000 pig farm up at the Horonui that doesn't have any consents. Wasting our time, when across the foyer I saw Peter Skelton wandering along by himself on his way home, quite satisfied with another day of subverting democracy, you know. So I raced over to Peter, who's a bit older than I am, and I have to describe Peter for you as an artist. Can you imagine holding a ball sack in your fingers, right? And that pendulous round shape at the bottom, okay, that's the body. The little wizened bits of skin go up to the neck, and then take a toucan's head, plonk that on top, the great big beak with little beady eyes. I'm not being unfair, am I? And then remember Ernie and Bert. Ernie had that puff of hair. Snow White and flopped to one side like him. And you've got Peter Skelton, a cartoonist's dream. So I went up to Peter and I introduced myself, we hadn't met, and I said, Peter, I'm Sam Mahn. He jumped back a moment. He said, you're doing some more sculptures, I said, not today, busy. Anyway, they're too expensive for you. And I said, Peter, you know, the ECAN Act, the New Zealand Law Society Rule of Law Committee described it as repugnant to the rule of law. It's buggered up natural justice, the principles of constitutional law, and the Bill of Rights, right? How can you, as a lawyer, defend your position at ECAN? He said, well, the Law Society is wrong. And the beat came down like a gavel. Poof. All right, I'm just going to walk over here and talk to Marima Davidson for a second. Now, Marima, can I apologize? There's a word you don't want me to use. You've taken the vernacular of vagina and said we're not allowed to use this as a tool in our political fights. And I respect that, so I'm going to call it a squirrel. So here's Peter, okay? I didn't know what eloquent reply I could use to his dismissal of the New Zealand Law Society, so I just simply said, Peter, you are a squirrel. And he braced himself, a little testicular brace. He looked like a chicken in a dust bath. He said to me, well, I think you're a rude man. And he walked out, and I was so happy. Squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. What? So, I turned around and I was so pleased. I was about to walk across the foyer and found myself surrounded by some Ecan mendicants, people who looked like they'd fallen out of a Valentine's show window. And their faces were all puckered up and disapproving smiles. Can you imagine a semicircle of nude cats with their bums facing you? So anyway, I walked right to the foyer. I was going to be put off. Walked outside into the sunny day, smiling. And I thought of Alu Guthrie. Do you remember Alu Guthrie? Alice's Restaurant?
Yeah! You can get anything you want.
And Alice's Restaurant, he walks into the draft board department and sings a line of Alice's Restaurant and walks out. So I said, right, what if, well, I just walked in there and called one of the leaders a squirrel, and I walked out, he thought I was mad, he's probably right. But if two people walked in there, if two people walked in and called Peter Skelton a squirrel, he'd probably think they were gay and invite them to a Christ College reunion. But if three people did it, then it could be a movement, and it could be if all of us were to walk into Ecan and call Peter Skelton a squirrel, he'd soon be climbing trees and gathering nuts. And we'd be free of at least one of them. Anyway, but as I said, I had a poem for you, so here it goes. I don't have music, so you're just going to imagine. Okay, ready? This is called A Contemporary Fairy Tale with a grim subtext. John, John, the golden goose is gone. The pigs in the trough are getting fat. There's a wolf at the door, but there isn't any more money to put pennies in the old man's hat. And my daughter's in the forest with a red cape on. I think she's had enough. She doesn't believe in anything other than things are just about to get very, very rough. People making promises, people making signs. The recovery has started. There's bodies in the mind, but get them out in time to catch the hearts of the broken-hearted. John, John, the golden goose is gone. The pigs in the trough are getting fat. There's a wolf at the door. There isn't any more money to put pennies in the old man's hat. And my daughter's in the forest with a red cape on. I think she's had enough. She doesn't believe in anything other than things are just about to get very, very rough. Johnny's in his counting house, counting out his money. Jerry's up in Fenelton, eating bread and honey. There's a kid in the east, walking in the streets, looking for shoes to put on his feet before the rain comes down. John, John, the golden goose is gone. The pigs in the trough are getting fat. There's a wolf at the door, and there isn't any more money to put pennies in the old man's hat. My daughter's in the forest with a red cape on and a semi-automatic on her lap. She doesn't mean you any harm. She just wants to get her country back. Thanks, guys, and all power to those kids on the 15th, right?
No.